Welcome back to another edition of Bash Champs Doc Talk. I'm with Jeff Welch. Today we're going to do a little recap on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, and then we're going to talk about how you, as a tournament angler on Bass Champs, can make more money, because that's the name of the game, right, Jeff? We all want to make more money, don't we?
Absolutely. My goal daily.
And speaking of making a lot of money, I mean, Shane Campbell and Wyatt Frankens, $35,000 for first place with 21 pounds. Now, you and I had thrown some numbers around last week on what we thought it would take to win that. Neither one of us came close to the weight of 21 pounds.
No, I on a light side, I would have said 25 pounds.
Yeah.
However, we didn't know what Mother Nature had in store for us because
Yeah, when Shane and Wyatt came to the scales, they were hoping for a top 10, maybe a top 5. They weren't even excited about weighing in that 21 pounds, and boom, $35,000. And of course, a big part of that is the Skeeter bonus.
no question about it. Skeeter, for as long as we've been a company, over 20 years, is I've never seen a company support Texas fishermen like Skeeter has. And I mean, as you just said, they had 10,000, but really there's an easy 17.5 up for grabs at every Bass Champs tournament just from Skeeter alone.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a couple of the new Skeeter, one of the big new Skeeter incentives. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Skeeter bonus again for second place. Cody Ross and River Lee, they went home with what, $11,500. Of course, another 1,000 of that was the Skeeter Big Bass on Friday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, big money. And Cody, bless his heart, he had a rough Friday, didn't he?
Actually, it wasn't Cody. Cody had a good Friday.
Oh, it was Oh, that's right. It was
Cody's partner who had the rough.
It was River that lost his wallet.
Right. Cody was making money, getting an extra grand, going fishing. River Lee was the one that spent his whole day at the phone store and looking for his wallet.
Yeah, just to put it in perspective, Jeff and I were sitting in my RV. We were doing a bunch of stupid behind the scenes work for Bass Champs, and this random guy just came up and knocked on the door, and I'm like, "Hey, yeah, what can I do for you?" We both thought it was an angler with questions on trailering the next day, and he goes, "Hey, I found this wallet, and maybe you guys can help get it back to its owner." And long story short, we got a phone number. Jeff calls it, and Jeff, who answers?
His mom.
His mom answers the phone because River not only lost his wallet, but he lost his phone. He was able to forward the number to his mom, and it was a crazy day for him.
Yeah, well, it was pretty fortunate, really. I'm never that fortunate when my wallet
gets lost.
Yeah. Especially on the highway.
Oh, man.
Brings it back and everything's in it. Wow. I mean, they pretty much won on Friday.
Yeah, they had a big day. Look at that phone still ringing off the hook. People want to know what's going on. And it turns out, calling a trailering tournament for that event, when I woke up at 5:00 on Saturday morning and grabbed a cup of coffee and walked outside of the RV and down to the pavilion, I was like, it was the most beautiful, still, quiet morning. And I'm thinking, oh, this would be a great morning for a controlled takeoff. But sure enough, come around 10:00, that northwest wind blew.
Yeah, it was kind of the calm before the storm. They had the forecast right. I did actually, it blew harder than really even what they forecasted. So
yeah,
the morning was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. But by 10 a.m., Sam Rayburn was mad.
Yeah. And one of the very nice things about this podcast that we're doing, the Doc Talk, everybody just assumed Shane and Wyatt were, using forward-facing sonar to catch all of their fish, because quite honestly, they're real good at it and they know what they're doing when they get on it. But they were real honest, and they said, hey, if anybody's out there, using forward-facing sonar and in a northwest wind that's blowing over 20 miles an hour, my hat's off to them, because they said there's no way we could have done it. And that was true for a lot of the anglers.
Yeah, and I think they spent, and a lot of teams that they're good at that technology, spent their Friday practice trying to make it work. The problem on Friday is we had huge south winds.
Yeah,
and I think they struggled. I mean, the guys that I semi believe, everybody kind of keeps a little how their catches go to themselves, but it sounded like it was a pretty tough bite on Friday. And that,
well, anytime 14 pounds gets a check on Rayburn,
Right.
it's a tough bite. Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. So let's talk about some of that extra money given away. Of course, Shane and Wyatt, an extra 10 grand for first place, fishing out of their qualified Skeeter. Now that 10 grand goes to the highest finishing qualified Skeeter boat, correct?
That's correct. It could be. It does. I mean, it just so happened this weekend that they won and they were the highest qualified boat. But that could be, in theory, that could be 20th, 30th, 40th place. And I mean, it could happen. It's the highest qualified Skeeter boat wins 10 grand.
And then the second one wins 5 grand.
Absolutely same deal. The second highest boat, qualified Skeeter, gets 5 grand, and that doesn't have to be in the top 5. Doesn't have to be in the top 10. It just has to be in the field.
Yeah, in fact, at the Texoma Championship last year, wasn't it Eric Elder that won it? And what place was he in for $5,000?
I want to say close to 20th.
Yeah, and you had to give him a call, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll turn around and come back for 5,000."
Absolutely, for 5 grand. He got back real quick.
He might have been speeding on the way back.
I'm sure he was.
So also Skeeter, and it doesn't matter what boat you're fishing out of, but Skeeter's sponsoring Big Bass Friday.
That's correct. Big Bass Friday is something we started last year. It's a lot of fun. It's $1,000 for the biggest fish caught during practice. We're not promoting a big bass tournament on Friday, but all the stories we always hear, you and I have talked about it. Man, you wouldn't believe this one I caught, John. I didn't even have a hook in my bait. Lizard went through his gills over his back, and here's this 11-pounder. I can't believe I caught it. We'll bring it up now. It's worth $1,000. And we had some nice fish. That 8-pounder by Cody and River. Well, Cody, because River was still at the store.
Yeah, River was trying to find a cell phone in a wallet.
Charles Whited and his partner from Central Texas, they had a nice 7-pounder. We weighed 4 or 5 really nice fish on Friday.
Do you remember who the team was that came in with a photo of what it looked like a 10-pounder? Then they had forgotten about the bonus and tossed it back.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Mr. Trimble from North Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah,
that was a pretty fish in that photo, but he didn't bring it in, so it might have been $1,000 down.
That's really where this $1,000 deal came, right? Everybody brings these pictures in on Friday. It says, "Man, you wouldn't believe what I messed up on." Well, they messed up. They caught a 10-pounder, weighed it, and then forgot about the bonus and released it. So
yeah,
good for Cody and River. They got the $1,000. Somebody threw their fish back.
And let's see who else got bonuses in the. We had the T&H Marine Atlas bonus. Gridley and Pate got that. They finished in 8th. Tell me a little bit about that bonus.
Yeah, that's a real simple one. It's just the highest finisher, again, that has a TH Marine Atlas jack plate. It's easy money. You have to scan a little QR code before the event. And it's a great way to take home some extra money.
Yeah, that bumped them up to 1,400 for 8th place. And then this is a great one, the classic bonus, because Chris and Trenton got that in 18th place, and they went from $1,000 to $2,000. He had just recently bought a new truck from Classic.
He did, yeah. The Classic Buick GMC bonus is the same thing. The highest finisher that's in a Classic Buick GMC that fishes the event wins an extra $1,000. And I think that went to 18th, and there was, I want to say, Shelton and Drake were pretty close behind.
They were right on their heels. They were in 31st place.
Another $1,000 just for supporting sponsors.
And then Jake and Trevor, North Texas fishermen, these are some good sticks, finished 30th place and still went home with $600.
That's right. Just for having a Fun and Son motor cover on their boat. It's a local dealer, and there's really, guys and gals need to look at it. There's a lot of incentives out there. Some of them are $10,000, some of them are $5,000, but they all add up. And that $600 from Fun and Son, it's real easy just for running a Fun and Son motor cover. It's $600.
Yeah, I'm running over here to the website right now to look at the rest of the sponsor incentives. And of course, remind us really quick for the big one, the Skeeter bonus, which is 10 and 5. What does your Skeeter have to be qualified for that?
So there's 3 Skeeter bonuses, John. There's a 10, a 5, and a 25. We need to talk about the 2,500. It's brand new. That is such big news, and it was not claimed at Sam Rayburn. It wasn't. But to answer your original question, the Skeeter boat must be within 3 years of original warranty registration. So the day that that boat was warranty registered the first time is when the clock starts, which is really awesome. I mean, there's a lot of programs out there across the country that are 6 months, 1 year, maybe even 2, but this is 3 years of eligibility. That the money that we're discussing here, the 10.5 and 2,500,
Yeah.
is available. And this $2,500 incentive came about this year, and it's called Skeeter School Cash. And you have to be in a qualified Skeeter, and one member in the boat must be a angler who's active in a high school fishing program. That's it.
High
So
school
20,
fishing it's so huge. I coach 2 kids from my local high school here in Rockwell Heath High School.
right?
And man, when we show up to those tournaments, I mean, they are packed with anglers. They're always looking for captains. The kids are just highly competitive, and what a great incentive to take one of these high school kids out and fish a Bass Champs tournament. Twenty five
Absolutely.
hundred dollars.
$2,500. I mean, it's like getting the top 10. I mean, again, you have to weigh in. You have to be in a qualified Skeeter, and you have to have an active high school member as one of your teammates in the boat. But that's $2,500. Like we go to Lake Fork next, for instance. I mean, that's THSBA country.
Yeah,
It's I would be shocked if someone doesn't claim it. I may recruit a high school angler here real quick. Just
I was thinking about doing the same
I mean, $2,500, $400 entry fee. It's going to be a net positive 2,100 period, however you look at it. But
one hundred
that's
percent.
new. I don't know really what happened at Rayburn. I get it. The weather was terrible, but that's tournament fishing. There's never a great weekend.
Well, and we're still getting the word out on that. So a lot of people aren't, we're not aware of it. And when you say you just have to weigh in a fish, do you have to be in the money, or do you just have to weigh in a fish?
Well, you just have to be the high, just like the $10,000 bonus, the 5,000. You just have to be the highest finisher that meets the credentials there.
Yeah.
For
So
the
weighing in a fish puts you immediately in a different category. So
Absolutely. I mean, if I was fishing with the high school angler and had 1 pounder, you bet we're weighing that.
yeah, we're weighing that thing in. And of course, we talked about the $1,000 cash bonus for Classic GMC. Now that's new this year because used to it was free entry fees, but you've switched that over to hard cash because, cash talks.
Yeah. That would be a whole long conversation, but I think this is a better program. It's instant gratification. Here's your money. Thank you for purchasing the vehicle. You don't have to figure out what you're fishing. I think it was very well received.
And we've got a podcast for later in the future. We're going to talk about, the easy ways to buy a truck from a Classic GMC, regardless of where you are in North Texas, who to talk to, what to expect, the whole buying experience and everything. We'll save that for the future. Another bonus that was given away, I know at Sam Rayburn, was the Garmin bonus. They've got 2 bonuses. Tell
Yeah.
me about both of those.
Yeah, so that's we had a Garmin bonus last year. It's been rebranded called the Garmin Grand for 2025, and it's 2 bonuses. They're 2 $500 bonuses, and in theory, one boat could win both bonuses. So the highest finisher at any event that has all Garmin electronics, by electronics I mean graphs, that's one $500 side of it. The other $500 side is if you have a Garmin Force trolling motor. And so, in theory, if third place or say 10th place had all Garmin electronics and the trolling motor, they get the Garmin Grand.
Boom.
It didn't work that way this weekend. We had one team got all the electronics bonus, exclusively Garmin electronics. So they got $500, and then another team had the trolling motor. Actually, that team had all the electronics, but they were below the team that claimed the first half of the bonus. So the Garmin Grand is another great bonus. We verified there on site. It's either 500 to a team or it's 1,000 to 500 to 2 teams or 1,000 to 1 team. Great bonus.
And and one thing to point out on the electronic side, it does have to be all Garmin electronics. So if you have a different brand of electronics in the mix, it doesn't qualify. It has to be all Garmin.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Garmin,
because that's a
Garmin
big
Grand has to be, that's right.
yeah, that's a big question.
Yeah, no doubt. And we've had to re-award the bonus before because there was one different graph in the mix there, but that's not how it works. It has to be exclusively Garmin electronics.
Now I'm reading here we got $4,500 available in Captain's Cash.
Yes, so that's Power Pole. They have their own incentive bonus as well. You register prior to the event. Uh, Most of that is handled directly with Power Pole, but there's a ton of money there to be awarded at each event as well.
And that's when you need to go to their website, powerpole.com. And
Prior
then
to,
and then prior to the event, you need to register on there. I think there's a small $30 fee or something like that.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
not
what the
100%
exact
sure on
number.
that, so I didn't want to say what the fee was.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but go if you go to powerpole dot com, all the details are there that allow you to be.
Absolutely. And during registration, we have all that stuff out there,
Yeah.
all the flyers, how to do it. It's all there.
Yeah.
Uh, and one as we're going through this, just uh, it's not a big award, but it's an award that or incentive. We probably one of our longest incentives is Sure Life Laboratories.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
And I know the list is long, and that's why I always recommend you guys, hey, go look at this stuff because that gets long enough that I've got to use a cheat sheet sometimes. But
I'm using mine. I've got the website open.
yeah, no, that's and it's amazing the amount of money sometimes that's lost just because somebody. I mean, Trimble this weekend. I mean, it's $1,000. They already caught it. Fish wasn't going to bite again on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, but Sure Life makes great fish care products. We've used those products for over 20 years. Started with
Well,
Tony.
Tony's been a partner of Bass Champs and fish protection for as long as I've been fishing. I mean,
Yep.
he's so passionate about fish care, and I know that you rely on those chemicals
Oh,
for
absolutely.
fish
No, our
trail.
business our
Yeah,
business runs on Sure Life. So
yeah,
it's
and that's actually one of those bonuses. Most people would be using it anyway to keep their fish healthy.
yep.
Tony just throws that bonus out there because he wants people to be rewarded for keeping their
Yeah.
fish healthy. So
Yeah, being good stewards of lake. Yeah, there's no doubt. No, it's great stuff, and it's what allows when everybody goes home and we still have all the fish and we're still taking care of them. That's what allows us to finish our job
yep,
before we get to go home. So
yeah.
great
Now,
product.
the Abu Garcia big bass bonus. Well, my first reel was probably a Zebco 202 when I
Right.
really, but the first reel, my first prized possession reel, which I still have sitting over here on the shelf, was a old red 4500 Abu Garcia reel. I've been fishing them ever since I was, I don't know, 5, 6 years old. I know you're probably in the same boat. And there's two of those up for grab is if when you weigh in big bass, if you're fishing with an Abu Garcia reel.
That's right. Well, yeah, right. You're not going to win a C3. You're going to win a modern
Yeah.
Revo. But
I
no,
don't know. Hey, that C3 would be a cool prize, wouldn't it, if they
it
brought
is.
that
And
back?
I still have a few C3s. That
Yeah.
kind of beats me, but yeah, no, it's a great another easy way. I mean, if you catch big bass on an Abu Garcia is going to come back and reward you with two more reels. So just another easy way to get to maximize your earnings fishing Bass Champs. I mean, it's
And
a lot
then
of money we're talking about here. I mean, when you start really calculating what this is, and I mean, and a lot of this money that we've talked about, John, it's gonna be given away. Period. I mean,
somebody's getting it. Yeah.
it's not. Hey, if you jump backwards and flip a jig over a tree 4 times and comes back, you might get $250. I mean, this is the vast majority of these bonuses are they're giving away every event. So
Yeah.
it's big time stuff.
Now we talked about the $600 fly the fish bonus that was given away, and that's a motor cover that you can get from Fun and Sun Boats, and it has that cool fish logo they have on there.
Yeah, fly the
And
fish. Yeah,
yeah, and boom, that's $600 that's available to you.
yeah,
But Fun and Sun also does two other. Yeah, I mean, Fun and Sun have been partners with Bass Champs for a long time.
yeah.
We're all good friends with the guys down there. You and I
Mhm.
were both at the Fun and Sun Boat and Tackle Show a couple of weeks ago, talking to all the anglers. Tell me about the other two bonuses that Fun and Sun offers.
Yeah, so Fun and Sun they have the highest finishing Fun and Sun customer and a qualified Skeeter, and their definition of a qualified Skeeter is within 2 years of purchase from Fun and Sun. There's an extra grand right there, and they also have what they call the first out of the money, uh, which is just I mean, I say just it's a couple $100 gift cards back to the store. They call it bonus bucks. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I like free stuff that especially I always seem to be the guy just out of the money. Usually it's more than just one place, but no, it's a great bonus. We have other dealers. Bernie Marine has a similar bonus, and you go to basschamps.com and look at Ken Parker's bonus. That he does similar, a little different, but no, I mean, all the dealers and all these great companies that are behind these tournaments. I mean, just they're putting a lot into it. We just try to remind anglers and teams and fishermen that just at least consider these group of companies when you're making the next purchase. I mean, we're not in the best economy. We all know that it's pretty tough out there, and it means a lot when the spin goes back to these same companies that are supporting what we all love to do.
Yeah, that is very true. And of course, while we're on the topic, Skeeter just came out with their new SE series bass boat that's, very price competitive, get you into a boat that, I mean, and you and I talked about this a little bit at the boat show back in the days when you and I started fishing and and of course, I'm not going to publicly announce this, but I am quite a bit older than you. So when I started fishing, bass boats were even a lot more minuscule back then than they
Right.
were when you were fishing. But when we bought a boat, we just didn't walk down and buy a boat with 5 graphs, power poles, lithium ion. I mean, we got a boat, and then as we could, we added on to it. And
Sure.
that's really what that SE series is all about.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's changed, right? I mean, what you just said. I mean, shoot, big time graph was a 6-inch in, flush mounted bow graph, and man, if you were going big time, you had a 9-inch.
Oh, yeah.
And
See, back in my time, it was 2 flashers. So.
yeah, I knew you were the but yeah, I mean, it gives you the ability to be. There's no excuse there. You have a tournament quality premier fishing platform with a Yamaha engine on it. Great trailer. Do you have all the bells and whistles? No, no, you don't. You're missing. I mean, like you said, some guys are running 4, 5, 6 screens, 3, 4 transducers, but you have a great platform to start from. And that's how I had to add. I
Yeah.
wasn't. I never, unfortunately, well, fortunately, however you want to look at that, was able to walk into a dealership and just load down a boat. I would have loved to, but I just added what as I could and what I needed the most. And I think, especially in these times, that makes a lot of sense. You have a really great platform in that Skeeter SE edition there. Have that in a 20 and a 21 footer. And, from there, what do you need? Do you need a Garmin the most? Do you need a set of power poles the most? It gives you the ability to add as you can and still stay within a budget while still being in a very premium product. And that's really cool.
It is. So before we have a brief conversation about our next event coming up, tell me, what was your first bass boat, Jeff?
I had a Skeeter, my like the first boat that I ever like had the title to, not my neighbor's buddy's boat, but was a Skeeter Starfire 150.
God, man, I had a photo when I was growing up of a Skeeter Starfire. Do you remember the old photo way back in the day? And they had 2 guys all bundled up in a Mariner 115 engine behind it. It was the Skeeter Wrangler, and
Yep.
it was plowing through some huge waves. I had that literally on my wish list board in my room when I was a kid. I wanted that boat
Yeah.
so bad.
This one had a GT 150. Uh, just real quick, I know we're dragging on a little here, but I can remember the first. It was used, well used, but I remember the first day I was on Lake Louisville. I knocked a hole in the cowling at the dock. And you would have thought. But long story short, I fixed it with some pink Bondo. That's the only reason I knew it was my boat. I saw it about 10 years ago.
Did you really?
And I sure wish I'd have bought it.
Oh, wow.
I thought, oh, I'll see it again. It'll be even better price, but I haven't seen it again. But anyway, yeah, that was my first bass boat, Skeeter Starfire 150.
Yeah, mine was you remember the old Cajun Brute 3 dual console?
Yep.
Yeah, that was mine with a 150 Mercury. I bought it. My grandfather bought it. I didn't buy it. He bought it for me. And it was purchased from, I think it was the Skeeter dealer in Waco. There's the Skeeter dealer now. I mean, Cajun's been gone for I don't know how long. But yeah, he bought it from, I think it's Syntex Marine in Waco. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But yeah, Brute 3, and it had a 150 Mercury on it. And man, that thing, I thought it was of course, boats go fast these days, and you can just take
Yeah.
your hands off the wheel and not worry about it. But back then, when you were doing 56 miles an hour, you were you were Mac Daddy
Yeah,
King, you
yeah,
know,
that's when you're talking about
screaming.
the name Wrangler, you're wrangling that steering wheel. Yeah,
Oh, but that was probably back then. That was that one and maybe the Hydra Sport were the two fastest bass boats on the tournament trail, I think.
I know that Starfire was plenty faster. It
Yeah,
sure seemed fast. Of
yeah,
course, we didn't have GPS either, so you're
that's
going
true.
like little speedo. And I think everybody added about 15 miles an hour just because that boat ran like 105 according to anyways, it's probably going 55, but it sure seemed fast.
Next event, Lake Fork, man, that's
Yeah,
always a big
awesome.
turnout, and they'll be moving up at that particular time. You know me, I think what wasn't last year, but year before last, we got second place at Fork. I love fishing that lake. It's just got a lot of different areas and a lot of different things you can fish, to get in the money. I'm really looking forward to that
Yeah,
one.
I am too. It's as you know, it's one of my favorite lakes, and I like it just because I get bites. I just
Yeah.
want to say something, at the end of the day. But no, Lake Fork, middle of February should be a great event. Look
And
forward to
then
seeing
not too long after that, the Mega Bass event.
it. Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah. Beginning of April,
yeah.
so we've got a lot of fishing before Mega Bass, but Mega Bass will be another great event to discuss. Yeah,
Yeah. So do us a favor. If you like the podcast, you're welcome to ask us any questions in the comments. We'll try to get back to those questions as soon as we can, probably do a podcast on them. And if you want to be notified if when we load up the new podcast, hit that little bell button, like it, subscribe to it. We're going to keep doing this. So far, we've gotten great response. It's an excellent way, I think, to get relevant information out to anglers, quickly and succinctly and talk about things like, hey, how can I make more money with these sponsored incentives? And now, go to that website. You've heard us talk about it. Go to the Bass Champs website and take a look at all of those. And you may qualify for some of those that you didn't even realize you qualified
absolutely,
for.
absolutely happens every weekend.
Yeah,
Give it to the
every
next
weekend.
place, somebody below because somebody didn't read.
Somebody didn't read it and comes to registration on Friday night and they're like, I just lost $1,000. Look at this photo, John. Look at
Yep.
this photo of this beautiful 10-pound bass. That was worth
Yep.
$1,000.
I've never had an extra 1,000, so I'll take it every time.
I'll take it every single time. Jeff, thank you for your time today. And I look forward to talking to you again. And we'll see all of the anglers again at Lake Fork. And that's just what, 3 weeks away?
Yeah, February 15th. So,
February 15th. You know what February 15th is? My wife's birthday.
oh, I was going to tell you the day after Valentine's Day. Well, Johnny, enjoyed it this weekend. Look forward to seeing you on the lake soon, and we will see you at Lake Fork, buddy.
Lake Fork. Sounds good.